Thank you very much. You may be seated. Honorable Selma Ashipala Musavi, the Minister for International Relations and Trade, Her Worship Swama Kodondokwa, the Deputy Mayor of the town of Swakopmund, or is it city now? City. Apologies. Dr. Nangula Wanja, the Chief Executive Officer of the Namibia Investment Promotion and Development Board, Mr. Tipoth Leslie, representing Namra, Mr. Aser Nashikukaku from MIRT as well. If I look on my left, I see Mr. Leslie Koresip, the CEO of the Usagos Town Council. I saw Her Worship, the Mayor of Usagos, Honorable Irene Simeon, also walking in just now. All other regional and local authority councillors that are present here, I did not have the benefit to see who's around, but I think the team is working diligently to make sure that we also acknowledge them, because we are in your town, we are in your region, and therefore we need to acknowledge your presence. So I think the team will assist so that we can acknowledge them accordingly. Members of the ERONGO business community, I'm so excited that the hall is fully packed. Honorable Minister, before we arrived at the hall, we had to get in extra chairs to make sure that we accommodate everybody. So I'm pleased that there's everybody and the hall is jam-packed. Members of the media, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Rino Muranda, and I'll be the Director of Proceedings. In my other job or other life, I am responsible for stakeholder relations and CSR at the Namibia Investment and Promotion Board. Good afternoon. I'm sure you know why we are here. But before we start, let me quickly just put down some house rules. For those of us who are here for the first time, if you need to go for a comfort break, there's a long walk to freedom. You need to exit on the door on the left. Please don't use the right side because there's a studio there. Then you turn right, and then you turn right again, and then you'll go through, you'll understand why I say long walk to freedom. There are a couple of stairs that you need to climb before you get to your freedom. Secondly, I know it's business people. I'm sure all of us have got mobile phones. Some of you 2, others even 3. I don't know, I'm not judging, but if you've got 3 of them, please let's put them on a silent note so that it doesn't interrupt the proceedings. If it does not have a silent note, just switch it off. Then the other one is that we want to have these proceedings as seamless as possible, but of course, it's very important that we have this engagement, and therefore, our national broadcaster is live streaming this event. So make sure that we can also minimize movements to ensure that at least we can give the attention to the speakers that they deserve. So, as I indicated, the business community knows why we are here. About a month ago, or a couple of weeks ago, on the 30th of June, we were in the ERONGO region, and there's a region called Region 1, informally, in this country. But the engagements are starting in ERONGO. So it's the first engagement that is starting, and it is coming at the back of the launch of the Africa Continental Free Trade Area, that was launched on the 30th of June. Is Atri here from Walvis Bay Salt? Yeah, if you can stand. Atri is here from Walvis Bay Salt Holdings. They are the first company that exported, is it 45,000 tons of salt using this agreement to Nigeria. Maybe we can give him a hand of applause. So why are we here then? We are here to sensitize the business community about this forum. We are here to sensitize the business community about the opportunities that are there. We want to hear from the business, what are the challenges that you're experiencing? What are the problems that you have? What are the potential support mechanisms that you need for you to take advantage of these opportunities? So these are, in a nutshell, the purpose why we are here, and we would want to hear and have that engagement. But here, I'm not here to deliver a speech, so without much ado, I would want to welcome our Deputy Mayor, Her Worship Swama Kodondogwa, to welcome us officially to this event.
Thank you so much, Directors of Proceedings. Esteemed Honorable Sialma Ashipala Musavi, Minister of International Relations and Trade, Honorable Ministers present here, Honorable Regional and Local Authority Councillors present, ERONGO Chief Regional Officer, Dr. Sam Telamo, esteemed business community of Swakopmund and ERONGO region, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon to you all. It is both an honor to welcome you all to this important business engagement here in this beautiful town of Swakopmund, Namibia's jewel of the coast and symbol of opportunity, innovation, and collaboration. Esteemed ladies and gentlemen, Swakopmund is Namibia's most iconic coastal towns and a strategic hub for economic activities, innovation, and investment. Our unique location on the Atlantic coast positions us as a vital gateway to regional and international markets, making Swakopmund a key driver to Namibia's broader economic landscape. Directors of Proceedings, esteemed Honorable Minister Sialma Ashipala Musavi, distinguished guests, respective business leaders, stakeholders, and partners. Swakopmund is one of Namibia's most iconic coastal towns and a strategic hub for economic activities, creativity, and investment. Our unique location on the Atlantic coast positions us as a vital gateway to regional and international market, making Swakopmund key driver to Namibia's broader economy. Today's gathering marks a first ministerial business engagement series, a milestone initiative uniting us to strengthen Namibia's active participation in the African continental free trade area. This platform offers immense potential to unlock growth, enhancing regional integration, and create new opportunities for our business and communities. As the Deputy Mayor of this beautiful town, I'm proud to see our town serves as the host of this significant dialogue. Swakopmund remains committed to supporting initiatives that cultivate entrepreneurship, attract investment, and advance inclusive economic development. Ladies and gentlemen, the journey towards harnessing the full benefits of African continental free trade area requires partnership, shared commitment, and collective vision. I'm confident that the conversation and collaboration forged here today will lay the foundation for meaningful progress and prosperity for Namibia and the region. On behalf of the municipality of Swakopmund, I warmly welcome you all and I wish you a fruitful deliberation and a productive engagement. May this event inspire innovation, ideas, and lasting partnership. I thank you.
They say in business, time is money, and money is wealth. So if we are short and sweet to the point, very much appreciated. I almost forgot that it was just lunch. So if you have to use the anatomy of lunch to describe this, you would say this was a starter. The main course is coming. And the main course will be served by our guest of honor. So ladies and gentlemen, please help me to welcome our Minister of Trade, Honorable Selma Ashipala Musavi, for her presentation or a statement. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Please take your seats. I know that in business, time is money. In politics, words have meaning. So don't expect me to be as brief as the Deputy Mayor. Thank you very much, Director of Ceremonies. Your Worship, the Deputy Mayor of Swakopmund, Swama Kutondokwa, and other mayors, distinguished business leaders. I'm informed that there are also several CEOs from various regional councils, senior government officials, esteemed guests, members of the media, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. Wow, it's a full house. I think clap for yourselves, really. You know, on my way driving here, I almost even called my colleagues to say, make sure maybe the media is not there, because I wasn't quite sure how many of you were going to get here. So you surprised me. Thank you very much for, coming to this event, which I deem to be very important. 2 weeks ago, we launched the commencement of Namibia's trading under the African Continental Free Trade Area in Walvis Bay at Namport. And today, we are here again, convening the first regional business engagement with the private sector, including SMEs. And again, we are starting here in ERONGO region. As a politician, I need to put a disclaimer. I'm from ERONGO region, born and bred in Walvis Bay. And on my way here, somebody said, Selma, the first event was in Walvis Bay. The second one, now you are going to Swakopmund. Please, I only happen to be in Swakopmund because there's another event. So these two events simply coincided. We did not plan to come to ERONGO region, lest some people say that because she's from ERONGO region, she's starting in ERONGO region. So I hope I've put that one out of the way. So let me again thank all of you for having made the time to grace this event with your presence. And this is really important for various reasons. Business is an important pillar of economic prosperity. It's the private sector, you, all of you, small and large, that drive economic growth. You create jobs through generation of tax revenue and innovation stimulation. You assist with policy input through chambers like the NCCI and NALOBA and others, as you advocate for business-friendly policies and provide feedback and regulations. Furthermore, our public-private partnership are anchored in the strong collaboration between business and government as we cooperate on infrastructure, education, and health initiatives. It's heartening to witness that the business are fostering empowerment and inclusion by supporting national transformation goals such as local sourcing. At the same time, let me emphasize that government plays a facilitating and regulating role by establishing policy and regulations that sets the legal framework for fair competition, consumer protection, and responsible business conduct. Government also invests in roads, energy, ICT, to mention but some, and all these are essential for business operations. Investment promotion is another function of the government. Through agencies and trade missions that are usually organized by our diplomatic missions, we continue to attract foreign direct investment and support local enterprise growth. As we all know, the foundation of all economies are the SMEs. Initiatives like the SME Economic Recovery Loan Scheme and procurement law aim to empower small businesses and promote inclusive growth. And I'm mentioning all this to set the context for why we are here this afternoon. You will recall that in putting together the new administration, Her Excellency Dr. Netumbo Nandi-Ndaitwah has merged certain ministries. As a result, we now have the Ministry of International Relations and Trade and the Ministry of Industries, Mines and Energy. I thought I need to make this clarification so that everybody knows where to direct their queries. The intention of this merger was to weave trade and foreign relations together in a way that brings tangible benefits to our people and position Namibia as a competitive force on the continent and globally. The Ministry of Industry, Mines and Energy is mandated, therefore, to lead the industrialization objective of government, support industries, and put in place policies that will increase production capacities and the diversification of products at national level. The mandate of the new Ministry of International Relations and Trade, as I have mentioned, is to basically create market access for our goods and services. As stated by Her Excellency, she put great value on the theme of unity in diversity, natural resources beneficiation, and youth empowerment for sustainable development. So let's unpack those three a little bit. Unity in diversity. We have 14 regions which make up our country but are very diverse in economic opportunities they offer. How do we together harness the diverse but collective strength of all the 14 regions and create viable solutions? Natural resource beneficiation. The more finished goods we export, the more jobs we create. What additional jobs can we create in ERONGO region? What are other sectors in ERONGO region that we might have overlooked? And how can government come in to the extent possible? On youth empowerment for sustainable development, what makes Namibia and Africa so attractive, in addition to the natural and mineral resources that we have, is the youthful workforce. So the questions that we need to ask: in what ways can we actualize the innovative ideas of our youth to contribute to employment creation and innovation? The Ministry of International Relations and Trade, in collaboration with the Ministry of Industries, Mines and Energy, therefore, in recognition of these interlinkages in their mandate, decided to partner in these important business engagements. Because government value regular interactions, which lays a strong foundation for establishing partnerships and collaborations between the public and the private sector. This engagement, therefore, should also serve as a platform for policymakers and like-minded business associates to exchange knowledge and ideas on how to ensure that the Namibian products and services have access and compete effectively in the regional, continental, and global markets, in particular to capitalize on the opportunities offered under the African Continental Free Trade Area framework. We need to see more exports under the said agreement, including SME participation, women and youth in particular, for diverse products and services. We are not starting from scratch. These consultations are meant to continue engaging in order to foster a conducive business environment and to assist our two ministries to formulate and implement policies that have direct impact on the growth and development of local businesses to capitalize on the external markets. Simply put, we are here to put heads together. We are here to assist the ministry to engage and hear from businesses about their concerns, your proposals on how government could assist businesses to improve your production capacities, to understand regulatory frameworks and various agreements that the government has negotiated to enhance market access on the continent and beyond. And the official will elaborate on that. This engagement is also meant to understand the isolated challenges faced by exporting MSMEs, such as difficulties in reaching their wider markets, access to trade information pertaining to trade facilitation, as well as non-tariff barriers. Equally important, we must ask ourselves here and today, what distinguishes ERONGO from other regions? Besides mining, tourism, fisheries, what else can ERONGO optimize and export? What can we do differently? That is what Business Unusual is all about. It's about undertaking action that set us apart from other African and other countries consistently, and to increasingly make a positive impact on the lives of our people. Ladies and gentlemen, Namibia is a prime destination for business, a true gem worth investing in, where entrepreneurs can unleash their potential. I am confident that with the support of the Ministry of International Relations and Trade and the Ministries of Industry, Mines and Energy, you will find abundant opportunities for growth and success. In conclusion, I hope that our deliberations, our engagement, our exchange of views today and in future engagements will foster a transparent and productive working relationship, strengthening the bonds between government and the private sector for a better Namibia. I thank you all.
Can we give another round of applause, please? Yeah, ERONGO business community you've had, what is your unique selling point? What is it that is unique for ERONGO that we can upscale, can develop, that we can all as a team be proud of? Do we have entrepreneurs in the house? Maybe by a show of hand? Yeah? So you heard that the minister was saying we want to unleash your potential. So let's hear those stories. Let's hear those good stories. Let's hear also those pain points so that we can look at how we can address that. Before we continue with the next speaker, I want to recognize the presence of our national leaders. We have Honorable Gaudensia Krone, the Deputy Minister of Industries, Mines and Energy, who've just joined us. Welcome, and you are very timely. The Honorable Minister just indicated that this is a partnership between MIME and MIRT, and therefore we are pleased that you could make it. Equally, I want to welcome Honorable Evelyn Ngavases Tayele, the Deputy Minister of Urban and Rural Development, who also made time to join us at this platform. If there are other leaders that have joined us, you see, when you are sitting in front and there's a serious light there, your view is a bit obscured, so I might not have seen if you have not come to the front. So please feel welcome if I have not mentioned you by name. Then we move on smoothly with the program. And then, as indicated by the Minister, we will call on Mr. Asse for the presentation on Ministry of International Relations and Trade.
Thank you very much, Directors of Proceedings, Honorable Minister of International Relations and Trade, Honorable Selma Shipala Musavi, Honorable Deputy Ministers present today, Honorable Her Worship the Mayor, Madam Swama Kautondokwa, Dr. and Brother Mr. Ndelamo, present here. Dr. Nangula Wanja, the CEO of Namibian Investment Promotion and Development Board. The local and regional councillor present today. Members of the business community. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Asen Nashikaku, and I'm going to provide a short presentation on the African Continental Free Trade Area and probably highlight a number of tools that are actually available to assist traders actually to benefit from the AFCFTA. I'll start, I think the presentation has been put forward and has been highlighted. The outline really is to look at a number of issues. The mandate, of course, the Honourable Minister have already touched on the mandate of the Ministry. And obviously, probably just to provide a bit of clarity in terms of the coverage of the AFCFTA. We'll also be able then to look at the status of the AFCFTA negotiations, just a little bit on that one, and probably look at the status of implementation at national level. We look at the benefit associated to it, challenges, and then we also look at the trade in services. Let me look at the mandate, but of course the mandate have already been, the Honourable Minister have already presented or talked about the mandate of the Ministry. We'll go straight to the background of the AFCFTA. Let me probably then inform the House that at least the AFCFTA is really an important continental free trade area that have been started in Africa, and it covers really 55 member states, but of course we know now that at least it's only 54 member states that have then signed on to this particular agreement. But of course, why is that important? Because it creates a single market for goods and services. It means that at least the traders in Namibia can now have access to those markets into Africa. Probably as a background, just maybe to inform the House that at least this particular agreement was at least negotiated over time, starting way back in 2016, But of course, the signing of this particular agreement was then presented in 2018, March 2018, and Namibia signed on this particular agreement on the 2nd of July 2018. With that, Namibia continued and ratified this particular agreement on 25 July 2019, and what was then important is the tariff offers that was actually being negotiated, because there is an agreement, but what is important really is the tariff, because it's only through tariff negotiations and offer that we can start trading now on a preferential trade arrangement. And that was actually concluded in last year in December. What that then means is that at least now Namibia have now complied to the national requirement for you to be able then to trade on a reciprocal basis. Of course, the agreement entered into force on the 30th of May 2019, but then trading under the AfCFTA was then officially launched on the 1st of January 2021. What does that then mean? It only means that at least from that particular date, the 1st of January, that was actually the first cut of duties if you are trading with goods. If, for example, the duties had been 10%, on that particular first day, January 2021, the cut then came to 9%. Today we are in 2025. We are now having the 5th cut of tariff liberalization. Obviously, the trade in goods make provision for a longer period of liberalization. In other words, a progressive cuts of tariff to ensure that the goods are actually become much more cheaper within the African continent. Now, what are the objectives of the AfCFTA? Create a single market for goods and services. That is actually one of it. And also to create a liberalized market for goods and services. And maybe to promote industrial development. And that can only be created if we start investing within Africa and start adding value to our goods, our raw materials. Then you will be able then to start industrializing and develop really Africa as a continent, to be able to compete with other continents. And this is actually one of the objectives of this particular agreement. Why the AfCFTA? And I think it's a number of questions that have been asked. Why the AfCFTA? Why are we putting a lot of effort on these ones? One of the recognition was that Africa did not trade with each other as much as we wanted to be. You can see that at least we only traded as Africa with each other only 15%. The other regions have been trading with other much more. For example, Europe 65% to 70%. But obviously, the Asian countries obviously have been trading with each other 50%. We have been behind. That's why we decided that, yes, let's come up with a AfCFTA so that we can then make it easy for us to be able to trade with each other within the continent of Africa. Africa trade in goods faces really a higher tariff. Why is that whenever we are actually trading with each other, it's so much expensive? In other words, the duty is high. But we have agreement with the third parties, whereby we are actually trading with each other on a low tariffs, and sometimes also zero tariffs. Those are some of the questions that one actually was asking themselves. But of course, you want to create a largest free trade area by a number of countries. You know, I think the member countries in Africa now, although it's 55 have signed on, and we hope that everybody will come on board. And one of the issues that have been recognized really is a question of the population also in Africa. Quite a higher population of 1.2 billion people with a combined gross domestic product of about 3.5 trillion US dollars. And it is expected also to grow by 4.2 trillion US dollars by 2027. So Africa is here, and I think the business can then be in Africa. And I think Namibia should be able to prepare to take advantage of those particular possibilities. I will have to move then probably to discuss about what is that is expected from the AfCFTA agreement. What is that is expected? What are we looking into? The coverage obviously is trade in goods. Those are the goods that we are producing naturally. We actually needed to have a protocol on that one to guide trade on goods in particular. But it also covers the services, and a protocol on trade in services was also developed and negotiated. Now, I think in terms of the gross domestic product, trade in services really contribute too much, because we are referring to transportation services, businesses services, tourism and all of that. It contributes to the gross domestic product. And I also believe that at least as Namibians, we should be able to look into that in terms of trade in services exports, because they are important in terms of incomes and so on. But then we also, this agreement also contained the protocol on the rules and procedure for the settlement of disputes. Now, this is important so that at least everybody who negotiated follow the rules that have been agreed upon. And as of now, I think there is a test whether Africa indeed is willing to trade with each other, whether we are going to follow the rules that have been prescribed in the agreement and associated protocols. The other issue in terms of coverage is then the protocol investment, so that at least you address the issue, how will those investors be treated? The protocol on intellectual property rights, your innovations, how are those going to be protected? Protocol on competition, but obviously there was also a discussion in the protocol on women and youth in trade, and because of trade that is actually happening using data, there was also an innovations, and there was also a protocol on e-commerce and digital trade that was actually negotiations. This is a basket of protocols that have been negotiated that will be able then to assist the African countries that are part and parcel of this particular agreement to trade among each other. What are the implementation? Obviously, we can talk about what the provisions of the protocol and agreement is all about. But we should also be able then to prepare ourselves. We should be one of the first people to be able then to prepare and establish enterprises within the continent. You can then go and say, let me have a commercial established business in Ethiopia, so that at least you contribute to the wealth and growth of the economy. So what is that we have to do really to do just that? Namibia obviously at the start of negotiations, what we have done, we have then went ahead to implement, or rather to develop the implementation strategy and action plan. It's one of the documents I think the trader should be able to have, because it's like a document, the Bible to benefit from the AfCFTA. The National Implementation Strategy was then launched in November 2022, and I think we should continue sharing this particular document. Namibia then went further to constitute an AfCFTA implementation committee spearheaded by at the national level. It is one of the issues, this particular committee should be able then to spearhead the implementation of the AfCFTA. It is probably not still well constituted. And probably it should be able to meet as much as possible. And it should be able to come out with much more strategy, export strategies, and advise traders and exporters on the new market and how we could be able then to be able to develop our particular products, have market access, deal with non-tariff barriers, and advise further. The National Implementation Committee comprises of a number of institutions, obviously academia, the private sector, civil society, youth, women in organizations, but of course, it's open for new membership as well. Potential opportunities for Namibia. I here probably just really to inform the House that at least this is a good market, new export opportunities, what an economic space for Namibian industries. But of course, we are aware that we can only export if we start at home to develop our production capabilities and diversify our production capacities. And in fact, add value to our raw materials. When we do that, we should be able to have a basket of goods that we are able then to export across the borders. Access to connection to regional and continental value chains is also one of the issues that we can maybe also look at. And most importantly, as I have said earlier, service providers, those who are in transportation, you are able then to also have access to those particular services beyond Namibia. You provide a platform for SME integration into the continental economy. Questions are coming, what is that you have to do to SMEs? Those are the small businesses, and we are saying yes, they can and they are allowed to export, but they can also be assisted so that they can be able then to export their goods that they are producing. We have a number of the SMEs that they are exporting within the continent, some in South Africa. We cannot continue to limit ourselves within Namibia. Enhanced benefit to consumers because obviously of lower prices, goods and services, sometimes because of competition. We have an opportunity for foreign direct investments, increase opportunities within the continent in terms of job opportunities as well, because we think that this particular agreement will then touch to a number of people to think about increasing production capacity and therefore create job opportunities. Increase the living standard of the citizens. Those are some of the opportunities available. But it's also very much important, while we are talking about opportunities, we should also be able to be aware that there could be some challenges. And we should also be able to be prepared for those particular challenges. Some of them really is that we understand as a small economy, we are also competing with larger, bigger economies. So countries are really at different levels of economic level within Africa. You have the Nigerians, Nigeria, you have South Africa, Morocco, Egypt, Ghana. Those are really bigger economies. How can we strategize so that at least we can compete fairly with those bigger economies? What are the structure of the Namibian economy? You have high competition. That is what we are going to experience as well. Influx of goods, but we have to manage that. Sometimes when goods are coming within Africa, the small industry might also be negatively impacted. What can we do to address those particular concerns? Limited financing. I think it's an opportunity for us to be able to get financing to start development and increase our businesses. Loss of custom revenues, I think this is much more, this is some of the issues that have been addressed, because if you reduce duties of goods that are coming in, the revenue collection must also be impacted. But of course we know that the tariff reduction commitments or the agreements that are providing for it is on a longer period of time. It gives times to adjust, and the money and the incomes will obviously be in the hands of the private sector. The following is really just to indicate, just a short slide to indicate which good do we have, and what is that we are producing, and where can those particular goods then go. And I did not bring everything. I said we are also having a number, maybe fish is there. Where can it go? It can go to Africa because there is a need for these particular products. You see the countries that we have highlighted there. We have chemical products. The analysis that has been done. Where is the need? You can see also the analysis that has been done. DRC, Egypt, Nigeria, Kenya, Congo. What a good opportunity really to increase the scale of production. You have frozen fish, you have sardines that we have indicated there, but there are other products as well, value-added products as well. We happen also to export salt and others. So this is just information so that at least we are able then to prepare ourselves to take advantage of these particular opportunities. Now the question then comes, as of today, as we stand here, which countries can Namibia start to trade under the preferential trade arrangement? Now, of course, the agreement consists of all those member states, state parties, 54 member state parties, but as of today, you can only trade with the countries that have met their national requirements as well, as of what Namibia have then also done. At current, there are only 16, and I have provided a link there that can obviously be shared so that we are able then to see the link and to be able just to go to the link and see 15 countries have met the national requirements, and therefore they have then provided then a provision in their national custom tariff book to say we have now started to reduce goods and services. Of course, it's 15 countries because the EAC have then submitted a joint, they have gazetted jointly, meaning there are 8 member states, you add to 15, which is about 23 countries to which Namibia could be able to trade with at current. I have provided this link because it changes every time. After 2 years, other member states can also join. We also have a link to find out which are those offers that have been adopted by the AfCFTA Council of Ministers. Obviously, at this point in time, it's 49 countries, and some of those ones, minus the 23rd that I have then mentioned, the other countries now need to comply with their national requirement. In other words, they need to gazette their offers. Coming almost closer to this particular presentation, there are necessary tools also available, because the most important tools is a tools that deals with the non-tariff barriers. They call the NTB monitoring and elimination mechanism. We have there also the link, and also one of the important tools is not all that have been developed, the e-tariff book. It tells you when you go to that particular country, I want to export my product, my meat, to X country. What is the current duties applicable? 6 or 5. You can use these particular online tools to get that particular information as well. Lastly, I would like to touch only one slide on the AfCFTA trade in services, which is very, very, very much important. The negotiations on the 5 priority service sectors was in fact concluded, negotiated, and Namibia is one of the 24 countries of which the trade in services offer was actually adopted. And those 5 priority service sectors obviously is there: the financial, the communication, the tourism, transportation, and business services. And business services include everything, doctors, lawyers, and others. To date, as I have mentioned, 24 shell of specific commitments, that is actually just an offer, have been adopted. And I've mentioned earlier that Namibia is one of it. And what is also important, it is moving slowly, but by this year, we believe there will be a development in the launch of the AFCFTA Trade in Services Portal, so that at least you can also access the regulation pertaining to the specific shell or specific commitments in terms of trade in services. Ladies, Honorable Minister, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to end here so that probably we'll be able to take some questions when the time arises. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. I think he has done a good job in unpacking the framework, giving us the mechanics of it, how it works, who do trade with, which countries are involved, also telling us about the opportunities as well as the challenges. Of course, if you look at the program, you will see that there will be a slot where we'll have a discussion, question and answer session that will come through. So at this point in time, I urge you to make those mental notes and keep them so that when it is time to engage, we can do that. We want to do that as a unique discussion for ERONGO. And when we do that, I think we will be excusing members of the media at that particular time so that you can get it off the chest. Yeah? You get it off the chest and we take it from there. So when that time comes, we'll make that announcement. Of course, the next presenter will be the Chief Executive Officer of the Namibia Investment Promotion Board. That is Dr. Nangula Nwanja, and she will be making the next presentation. Doctor?
Thank you very much, Honorable Salma Ashipala Musavi, Honorable Deputy Minister Krone, and we have got also our Deputy Minister from Urban. And let me stand on the protocol observed, of course, recognizing our Deputy Mayor, Her Excellency, for her worship, and thank you for welcoming her to your town. So I have a few minutes, maybe a few slides, so let me try and see if I can start with that one. And I know that I'm not able to flip, so we are talking about basically about 5 things. Number 1 is the challenges that we face. Number 2 is the role of business in solving those challenges. Number 3 is yes, we promote foreign direct investment. Why? Number 4, it's really about NIPDB as a government vehicle to support business, and then we will look at some frequently asked questions. So quickly going on to slide 4, it's about really the challenges that we face. And we always start with that slide at the Namibia Investment Promotion and Development Board, reminding us, why do we exist? Why is there urgency to bring about business reforms to support businesses so that we can deal with those challenges? Challenges of high unemployment, challenges of inequalities, challenges of poverty levels that are not acceptable. In order to deal with those challenges, we need to grow the Namibian economy, but it must be grown in a sustainable and inclusive manner. Currently, we are unequal, and many people say that we have been having foreign direct investments in this country. We have natural resources. We are just 3 million people. Her Excellency says we are too few to be poor. Why should we be poor if we've got so many natural resources and so much high level of unemployment? Can we do something differently? So, of course, if you want to grow the economy, for those of you that may have studied Economics 101, you have to pull one of the few levers. You either increase government spending, you either increase consumption by the household, or you drive both public and private investment high so that money is not lying idle, but rather, and it's not being exported. Somebody recently said the largest export of Namibia is capital. So that capital is going somewhere to create jobs for other people. How do we retain that capital in Namibia? And then, of course, the other one is looking at our import versus export. And that is exactly what the Honorable Minister and the team from the Ministry of International Relations and Trade is saying. Export promotion. We need to find more access for our goods and services, but we also need to produce more. One of the reasons that then NIPDB was created was to drive Namibia's diversification strategy. And diversification strategy says currently our export basket is very little, and the goods in that export basket are very basic. So we do not export what they call complex goods. And therefore we look, for example, 80% of employed Namibians by 2018 were having grade 12 or less. And the question is it because we do not have graduates, or is it because our economy is not able to create jobs for graduates? So moving on to the next slide. I say that one, it's either we can look at it either ways. It's either our challenge or our opportunity in numbers. And that is just the demographics of Namibia. You are told that according to the 2023 statistics, about 70% of Namibians are below the age of 35. So they are 34 and below. And the unemployment rate among them is the highest. Of course, that is the challenge. There is an opportunity, which the Honorable Minister has referred to. A young population can also be a young population, specifically a young population that is literate, they can speak English, and they are digitally literate. It's also an opportunity to attract different investment in some sectors that we may not have today. Moving on a high level, the next two slides are just looking at the employment numbers. Number one is saying, according to 2018, and that is old data, the recent data is even worse because the total population has increased while the employment has gone down. So according to 2018, 1 in every 8 Namibian had formal employment or had employment in a formal setting, and the rest, of course, that were employed are in informal setting. You will want that to be at 1 to 2.5. Next slide tells you how many of those are in the private sector. The Namibian private sector is too little. You can see about 138,000 are people that are employed in the private sector. And we know that the private sector is the engine of productivity and growth. And therefore, the point is we need to grow the size of Namibia's private sector. So private sector development is something that we need to do. So looking at the next item there, it says the employment in numbers by entities that receive foreign direct investment. And if you look at that one, then it means if 138,000 Namibians were employed in the private sector, and about 56,000 were employed by entities that receive foreign direct investment, then the ones that are employed by the Namibian local business community is even less. So how do we grow the Namibian business community? Let us move to the next slide. So what is the challenge that we are having today? The challenge that we are having today, and many times you see me talking in numbers, apologies, I'm an accountant, so I don't leave my numbers behind. We need to create 800,000 jobs by 2030. That is basically the challenge. Namibia needs. So currently, according to 2023 statistics, we have got about employed Namibians of 500-something thousand. we need to create 800,000. So I have indicated to you how I reached to 800,000. So currently the unemployed that we need to have numbers for is 662. You can add the population growth every year based on how it grows, and you can see the numbers that we need to create there. So the government promised to create about 500,000, but of course, again, with that 500,000, it cannot be created without the private sector. So let's go to the next slide. So if we need to create that much, how much do we need? We need to raise 220 billion Namibian dollars in order to finance those jobs, assuming the cost of employing one person is 275,000. And we know that in some sectors it's less, in other sectors it's very high. Some people say maybe average will be about 1 million. So if we are to have 1 million Namibian dollar per job, that will even be very, very high. So we need a lot of money to do that. And that money, saying, do we get it from tax revenue? Our tax is about, our revenue, Namra is here, is just about 100 billion Namibian dollars now annually, and of course we know where it goes. And our total economy is about 240 billion. So let's go to the next thing. So what is the role of business? Definitely, business has got a lot to do. So the role of business is, private sector is critical. And I'm not going to go through all that slide because I think we know, and you are welcome to get a copy of my slide. Please do not audit my figures when you get a copy of my slide. Just accept them. Just say, okay, assumptions are wrong. You know, like they said in economics, all things being equal, economists will give you 10 different answers if you speak to 10 people. So next day, so I think then we talk about local business community. What is the importance of local business community? Because the local business community are the primary investors in the economy. If you look at some of the things that investors outside, and maybe when we talk about investors, somebody feels like investor is setting up a business. Many times investor is just about somebody who will invest money in your business, even in a local business that you own. That is an investor. So yes, investors sometimes can be these ones that own a project. You've got companies such as ONL. They are big companies, so they own projects and they finance their own project. But some of us, I have got a project, I don't have money, so I bring in investors who will give me money. So local businesses can have their businesses and bring in investors who will support them. But local investment means your money stays in the country, you grow the economy, you are more attached to the people, therefore you are the primary investor, and the more we grow our local business communities, the more the economy will sustainably grow. Because the foreign investor will take out their investment at some point in time. And therefore, even if you bring in foreign investment, it's about how do I use that foreign investment to build other adjacent sectors so that by the time they pull out their money, I have used that money to grow my economy. So let's continue. The benefits of local businesses, we can leave that one. Let's continue. So the next section is really, if local businesses are what is important, why do we talk about foreign direct investment? Yes, in an economy such as ours, when it's small and you are starting, and actually even in large economies, you may have seen that the president of the USA went to the Middle East and he's saying, I came back with how much billions of investment. So every country in this world of open economy, we need to trade with others. We need investment for others. We can also have investment to other countries as long as we are very deliberate about those investments. So job creation, supply chain, technology absorption. If you have got a large entity that is operating in many countries, they've got a capacity that you might not have. And when they set up in the economy, there will be spillover effect that can also be absorbed by other entities. Next slide is really then, of course, when we talk about FDI, we also talk about greenfield. Greenfield is when the foreign investor comes in your country and they just start their own project. it's very, very difficult to get those ones. Therefore, many investors that are coming, they want mergers and acquisition. Is there a company that we can work with? Is there a company that or somebody who I can partner with? So that is normally what they're looking for. And therefore, yes, sometimes you see people are growing their small businesses so that they get bigger. They bring in a partner and they actually increase the capacity, and that capacity will even enable them to export. So yes, FDI sometimes comes in a manner of loans, sometimes it comes in a manner of equity, and sometimes it stays in a manner of companies reinvesting. The next one is really about, yes, what are the challenges? If we are not careful about how we engage foreign investors, they can displace our businesses. So that's why we need to be deliberate. How do we get to be deliberate? It's really about how do we get more? We need to proactively direct foreign investment. So look at, I think the Honorable Minister was saying, ERONGO, beside doing what we have, currently foreign investors come in Namibia, they find their own project, they study Namibia, and then they come. We are not proactively finding out what is Namibia good at, what can we do, and then inviting them to invest in certain sectors. And that is exactly what we will want to do. We will want ERONGO to say, this is our profile as ERONGO, this is what we have as ERONGO, and therefore we invite somebody to come and partner with us in this project instead of somebody finding us. But of course, there will be people that are finding us because they are sometimes exposed to things that they know they need, which we don't know that they need, and they will come. And those ones are also welcome. But then again, I was speaking to governors recently, and I told them, we have got a pipeline of projects, and there is about 4 regions that has got 0 project in that pipeline. And therefore, my first task is, how do I engage those governors to find opportunities in their region so that we can invite investment to them, because investments are not automatically coming to them. But if you are in Swakop, of course, investment find you. So when you are in ERONGO, you have got a harbor there, investments are just coming. When you are in some remote regions, investments don't find you. So you need to proactively go find investment. Next one, of course, we need to understand, what are investors looking for? They are resource-seeking investors. They come here because we have got resources. Those ones are easy. They will find us. Sometimes we don't even need to go and find them because they've got all their geography. But yes, we need to provide them with information. And what we give them is different. There are the ones that are seeking efficiency. And those ones are the ones that can help us get out of unemployment because they are the ones who employ more people. But those are the ones that are also asking us for incentives because they are saying we are looking for efficiency. We want labor that is affordable. We want input costs that are affordable. We want systems that are smooth, efficient, and fast because they are looking for efficiency. But those are the ones that will be able to put up call centers, business process outsourcing, manufacturing, and so forth. And then we have got the ones that look for knowledge. How much cumulative knowledge do you have? How many engineers in your country? How many people can teach because they went to school? Those are the ones that are looking for. And the other ones are looking for market. When you tell them, how many are you? 3 million. Okay, thank you. Why? Because they want customers. So they are different, and therefore you find out who do I speak to depending on what they have. Next, quickly, and I know my time is running. So critical success factor, I'm not going to talk about that one. Next one, so NIPDB is a government vehicle to support the growth, development, and productivity of businesses. How do we support our businesses to grow, to scale, to start up, grow, scale, and export? And those are the factors of production that we were always taught in economics: capital, labor, entrepreneurship, land, and then there's, of course, market access. Next. So some of the things that we do then is really, we call it policy working committee, to speak to advise government on certain policies, and therefore we engage the business community. What are the policies that need reforms? And then ease of doing business. We've got a one-stop center where you can come to have services. And then public-private dialogue. We've got something called productivity task forces that we are running, that we sit together with an industry and say, industry, what challenges are facing you? And government is asking you the question, what can we do to help increase the productivity of your industry? So next one is really about, those are the business needs, and what are NIPDB responses to the business need? What do we do to help businesses? So again, because of time, we will continue and you will get the slide. Because I just want to show you a few things. So there, we have got our website and various platforms that are created to support businesses. For startup, we are having a community with the NCRST, a community of startup activities where you have got all incubators coming together and helping promote startup. You may have heard that Namibia has moved up in the ranks of startup activities, and Windhoek has also jumped about 100 places. So startup information, next one. Profiling project. If you have got a project that is looking for investment, you can get that project on our website. So those are some of the projects that are on our website. Next. Promoting investment activities in Namibia. So in that investment activities, you have got something called investment proposition. So we have traveled, we have heard, we have seen, and we have prepared something we call proposition. It's like business ideas. So it's a lot of business ideas on our website that tells you, if you are in Namibia, there's an opportunity that you can set up this business or that business. So if you are looking for business ideas, go to our proposition. You might find business idea there. And of course, also an investment catalog. Next, we've got something we call information sharing platform. So that one, we want to roll it out to the regions, but we also want to get information from all various other ministries, offices, and agencies, because there is a lot that government is doing for the business, but business don't know where to find it. So we have put that one, and you can see down there on the next page a few things that are there. So there is a mining input database, there is a system of NIRs from the ministry, there is opportunities offered by Hyphen, and so others. Next one, it's making the visibility of Namibian business. We have got something called a sustainable supplier database. On that, please register, because when investors ask us, I want somebody to buy something from, that is the database we refer them to. We don't want to send them to our family members or whatever. We want all Namibians to have equal access to them, and therefore we register people there, and that is where you can go. Promoting enterprises, and then the last section there is frequently asked questions, and we don't have the time to go through them. So the questions is like, does NIPDB only support foreign investors? No, the answer you will find there. Does NIPDB have a list of projects that they are just giving to people? No, people bring their pipeline projects to them, and we support them. What is the project pipeline of NIPDB here? It's a list of projects that have come to NIPDB for support to get licenses, permits, and so forth from government. How can I get my project on that pipeline? The answer is there. Is my project or business idea safe at NIPDB? Yes, we have got technology and, of course, human resource activities and engagement. I'm an existing investor. How can NIPDB support me? So you can look at the various questions. Does any business qualify to receive support at the one-stop center? How does NIPDB protect local businesses from unfair competition by foreign investors, and so forth? Of course, we have not answered all the questions, but we have tried to provide some questions, and therefore, if you've got other questions that are not there, please feel free to reach out. The next slide, our ask for the business community is please attend information sharing sessions such as this one. Please be an active member of a business association, because, for example, when the Honorable Minister or the President are traveling and they want to go with a business delegation, we send information. Yes, sometimes it's advertised, but it's also sent to business association. And ensure your association is registered. We are currently working on what's called Namibia Public-Private Forum, and we are registering associations so that they can participate in government engagement activities. Make sure that your association is registered. That is something ongoing. Join government-led outward business delegation. Look out for other items. Information there about the MPPF. Let's go to the next, which is actually about, next slide. So, Team Namibia will succeed when all of us come together. We have got the policymaker, who is government. We have got the business, Namibia, who is you. We need the trade union. We need academia and civil society. One is too small a number to achieve greatness, but when we all collaborate, we will be able to make that mission impossible possible. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Doctor. That was a mouthful. Of course, because of time, we couldn't, I'm sure she couldn't go into detail of some. We will be taking a break sometime, and after the event, there will also be some refreshments, so there will be an opportunity to engage. We have a team member from NIPDB. Can I ask the two colleagues to just stand for networking purposes? They can provide more advice and support. Later, you can engage with them as well. So we move on. The next item is the presentation by Mr. Tipoth Leslie from Namra.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Before I start with my presentation, please allow me to acknowledge the presence of our Honorable Minister of International Relations and Trade, Honorable Minister Selma Ashipala Masui. Allow me also to recognize the deputy ministers present. And when I arrived here, I felt a little bit insecure, but when I saw one of the deputy ministers, you know, I feel protected because she's coming from the region where my heart is. Ministers, I acknowledge you. Please also allow me to acknowledge the deputy mayor, Her Worship Swama Kaudon Tokwa. Allow me to acknowledge the presence of the various CEOs present here, other senior government officials, managers, ladies and gentlemen. I acknowledge the protocol already set. Thank you very much. Yeah, my name is Tipoth Leslie. I'm a Principal Custom Officer. I've got 15 minutes to drop this presentation, but when I arrived here, I was not sure what to expect. And when I arrived here, I saw so many people which I don't know. And then all of a sudden, one by one, my daily customers walked in here. So it does not feel that special anymore. It feels like as if I'm still in the office. So allow me to do my presentation. I was tasked to do a presentation on the rules of origin, especially which talks to the African Continental Free Trade Area. What is rules of origin? What is rules of origin? According to the agreement, rules of origin are a set of criteria and conditions used to determine whether or not goods that are treated between goods that are traded, between state parties qualify as originating goods. Rules of origin are rules and regulations that determine the economic nationality of a product. The rules of origin are used to assess whether products are eligible for duty-free or reduced duties under the trade agreement rules. Before I continue, I'm a little bit nervous. So when I get nervous, normally the English also dries up. And whenever we have these engagements, I always said English came here with a vessel. It didn't come on the back of a horse or by feet. It came with a vessel here. So sometimes the English bundles also dry up, and it makes it a little bit difficult to communicate. But yeah, I was given this presentation to do. Yeah. So that is basically what rules of origin is. Can we proceed to the next slide? Why are rules of origin important? Like I said, most of my colleagues here, we discuss these things on a day-to-day basis, and there's a lot of arguments and debates when it comes to rule of origin. And I can tell you that whenever we engage, there's always a fight why we should acknowledge the status of certain goods that comes in here. Rules of origin are necessary to define the requirements that a product must meet in order to be deemed original within the free trade area. That is why most of my colleagues here always fight an emphasis on the various trade agreements. It assesses the product meets. It assesses if the product meets. Can we go back? Apologies. It assesses if the product meets the criteria for preferences, reduced import duty. It's also to promote industrialization, value addition, and economic diversification. Next. How to determine the origin of goods under the African Free Continental Trade Area? There are two ways to determine the origin of goods. It is either wholly obtained, or there should be some substantial transformation taking place. Wholly obtained, that is a question which is always asked, what is wholly obtained goods? I can give you examples. Grapes, our Osinge farm, milk, beef, meat co, fish caught in the Namibian territorial waters. Those are examples of wholly obtained goods. Wholly obtained goods continues here. We regard to goods of the sea. All right, yeah, this is quite a difficult one. Yeah, I cannot see that far anymore. Allow me just to look at this side, please. I apologize, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, the terms. This is where rules of origin sometimes get tricky, especially when we have to deal with vessels, foreign vessels, which are operating in our territory. Sometimes it happens that there is complaints that some of these vessels are not registered, but I'm convinced that most of our authorities who deals with this, they normally ensure that the vessels are complying with us. So what basically happens here is, with regards to goods of the sea, fishing industry, Article 5(1)(h) and A and I, the provisions on wholly obtained products, wholly obtained produced goods are supplemented by definitions of what constitutes a vessel and a factory ship of a state party. This mostly talks to foreign vessels which are operating in our territory. These terms, the vessels and the factory ships, shall apply only to vessels, leased vessels, bareboat and factory ships which are registered in state party in accordance with the national laws of state party and carry the flag of state party, and in addition meet the following conditions. These are all things to look at when we have these vessels operating here. I think we can move to the next slide. There's a thing called, when it comes to origin, substantial transformation. It's a process that needs to take place whenever we have goods, or whenever goods are qualifying for origin status. So substantial transformation basically means that goods underwent a fundamental change in form, appearance, nature, or character. Products which are not wholly obtained in a state party are considered to be sufficiently worked or processed when they fulfill one of the following criteria: specific processes, change in tariff heading, value added, or a non-originating material. Substantial transformation, a specific process under Annex 2 describes working or processing where a specific working or processing is carried out. In a country, if a country imports raw diamonds and further process them, the final product will be considered as originating according to the African Continental Free Trade Area rules of origin. We produce our own diamonds, but I don't know how many of us are aware that we are also importing raw diamonds for processing on this site. Yeah, so that is something that is currently happening. Substantial transformation continues here. Here we have examples of substantial transformation. If we have the importation of olives, and it is turned into olive oil or cooking oil, importation of leather, the processing thereof into shoes, wallets, or yes, other products from leather. That is substantial transformation. Yeah, and this is where the numbers come in. Value addition, it also forms part and parcel of substantial transformation. For example, the product-specific rule will state manufacture in which the value added of the materials used exceeds 40%. So as you can see, there is some calculations that needs to be done where in order for a product to classify or to qualify under the rules of origin. Can we go to the next? Okay, there's also a few formulas. Ladies and gentlemen, I can tell you that when we engage on this, these are not things that can easily be explained, during a presentation. But I can guarantee you, when you engage with the office, we would be in a position to explain these things thoroughly. Next. Proof of origin. Goods must be exported or imported with an origin certificate or origin declaration in order to be eligible for preferential treatment when trading with member states. This is where we normally come in from a customs and excise side. When you are on the ground, the things which I'm communicating here they come naturally. I can tell you that they come naturally. In the beginning of the session here, our Director of Proceedings also mentioned the salt that was exported, our first consignment that was exported, and it was quite a process for us to get this ready. I must also confess that I'm the officer on the ground who signed the first certificate of origin for the salt exported. The statistic which was given was 45. I can remember I signed a certificate for 40,000 metric tons at least. But I'm convinced that there's a lot still to go. So we are in the process of assisting there. Next slide. So the requirements for exporters under the African Free Trade Continental Area. As you can see there, before I go in here, I can also confirm that under the SADC Certificate of Origin, we have advanced this process for it to be done electronically. I'm convinced that once we kick off with this and we have more exporters which will make use of this trade agreement, we would also convert to electronic submission. So in order for you to qualify, there's this information required: the company profile, company registration certificates, export permits, proof of right holding, proof of identity, certificate of good standing with Namra, and then the manufacturing sketches and the producer supplier declaration where applicable. In order for this to be processed, Namra will also conduct site visits at the exporter premises to assess manufacturing processes according to the origin criteria. And then once the products to be traded under the agreement meets the origin criteria, the exporter will be registered to obtain the certificate of origin or the status. Yes, thank you very much. I've come to the end of my presentation. I submit. Thank you.
Thank you very much. That is Namra. If I look at the time, I think we are doing fine. We will not have a presentation from the Ministry of Industries, Mines and Energy. So this brings us to the end of the presentations. Oh, he's here. All right. No, thank you. I'm guided that the presenter has arrived. All right. Thank you. Can I please call upon the representative from MIMES to join us for the presentation? Thank you.
Yes, good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, Honorable Minister for International Relations, our Deputy Minister, and all the CEOs present, as well as the senior government officials. I am Oscar Festus. I'm from the Ministry of Industries, Mines and Energy, under the Directorate of Industrial Development. We deal with SMEs, manufacturing, and special economic zones. My presentation is clustered into three, but I will be very brief so that I can keep up with time. The first thing I start with is MSME. MSME is the backbone of our country, and 89% of the business activity are done by our medium and small enterprises. They are the backbone for employment creation, and also they contribute significantly to the economic growth of the country. And MSME is where people are more innovative, and the diversification also takes place in that sector. Even though they are facing several challenges like access to market, access to finance, as well as technology, and another one is skill, which they also lacking behind. On institutional roles for MSME development, our ministry is responsible for policy development, and we are also responsible for formulating those policy, and we are working in collaboration with NIPDB. They are also having some programs which are earmarked to support our MSMEs. Next slide, please. Within our ministry, we have several programs to support our MSMEs. The major one, we have equipment aid, and we have IUMP, which we call Industrial Modernization Upgrading Program. Equipment aid scheme, we are looking at those MSMEs who are like startups, who are still not yet there, because our budget for that one is very limited, and we are trying to cater for many MSMEs as possible. So we provide them with machineries. Those machineries are for productions. And we are just assisting them also to move into a semi-industrial scale where they will be able to manufacture or produce products. Next, please. An industrial upgrading and modernization program. This one is more of those MSMEs who are already in the market, not necessarily in the market, but who are already there. And we assist them with machineries and those sophisticated machineries or equipments. Because this program, we are also trying to enhance them so that they will be able to use technology and also improve their productivity, where they can be able to produce those products which can compete in local and international market. We have also another program. This one is still yet to come, but we already started the conversation. The Youth Fund program. This one is more dedicated to the youth, and we will be providing them with finance, mentorship, and also link them to the market, either international or continental, regional, or local market. During this program, we are encouraging innovation, digitalization, and green entrepreneurship. So we want our people to be able to take the environment into consideration when they are manufacturing those products. The MSME support mechanism, which we have currently, is market access and trade facilitation, whereby we are trying hard to link up our MSMEs so that their product can be able to enter the African Continental Free Trade area. We also assist them with business development services like trainings and incubations. Like recently, we completed a training on standards. We identified some of the sectors who are in our growth at home strategy, and we collaborated with Namibian Standards Institute, whereby we were providing those standard trainings on how their product should be able to be sold in local or international market. Yeah, the next one, please. In inclusive and sustainable MSME growth, we are prioritizing the women, youth, and rural entrepreneurship. So we want them to grow and be able to participate in the local economy. We are also taking environment into consideration. So we are promoting green, climate change, or climate smart MSMEs who will be able to take environment into consideration when they are producing their products. We are also linking our MSMEs with large investment and value addition. Yesterday we had a bilateral engagement with the people from South Africa, or the Republic of South Africa, regarding the automotive value chain, whereby we want to South African and Namibia to work together so that our local companies who are in steel or metal fabrication will be able to produce some of the car components which will be assembled in South Africa, or maybe they will be assembled here. But the conversation is still ongoing. Next one, please. What's the future for our MSMEs? We are trying to scale up so that they will be able to produce employment, 100 plus sustainable job employment by 2030. And this one, we also capture it. It's one of our inputs which we put in our NDP 6 when we presented in ERONGO last week. We're also trying to strengthen the coordination between our ministry and NIPDB, because I think now everybody's trying to do his own thing, but we are doing the same. We are trying to help our MSMEs, or we are trying to contribute to the economy. So we are trying to come up with mechanism on how we should coordinate our programs so that they will be, instead of duplication, then we can just be sticking to one. We are also trying to assist our MSMEs to assess or to access finance, technology, and regional market. So we want our MSMEs to participate in African Free Trade Continental area, and also in SACU, SADC, and they can also go international. So we will also be assisting them in that regard. That's what I have for MSMEs. The next one is on Special Economic Zone Framework. Why is Special Economic Zones in Namibia? They drive industrialization and economic diversification. They also attract foreign direct investment and also domestic investment. So when we are talking of investment, we are not only looking for foreigners, investors. We also want our local people to participate and invest in Namibia. We also want job creation and skill transfer, as well as to link our SMEs so that they will be able to participate in those special economic zones, even by supplying something to take part in the value chain. The special economic zone is replacing the export processing zone regime, which is coming to an end in December 2025 or December this year. So the special economic zone is the new one in the block, which is replacing the export processing zone. Cabinet approved a national special economic zone policy and incentives. The national consultation was conducted on the bill, and we are still working on the bill. 20% corporate tax rate was also approved, and the launch for special economic zone will be in December this year. That's how we are planning it. Next one, please. What are special economic zones? Special economic zones are designated areas with special regulatory and fiscal regimes. They facilitate trade, investment, and industrial development or clusters. Beyond export processing zone, more sector will be developed, broader incentives, and better governance. We are not just designing this out of the blue. We are also, there are successful case studies from other countries which we are trying also to benchmark from. Countries such as Mauritius, the UAE, as well as Rwanda. Those are some of the case studies where we are also trying to benchmark. Special economic incentives package that will be including the corporate tax rate for 20%, which was already approved. Customs, VAT exemptions on some of the approved goods. Accelerated depreciation and capital allowances, skill development and green industry support. The strategic special economic zone locations, we are looking at Walvis Bay Logistics and Trade Hub, Windhoek Manufacturing and Services Cluster, Northern Agro Processing Hubs, linked to Walvis Bay Port and regional corridors for trade or for trading. Special economic zone investment and opportunities, renewable energy and green hydrogen, agro-processing and food industries. Those are mineral beneficiation and battery manufacturing, ICT, logistics, and African Continental Free Trade platforms. Those are some of the things, the sectors and the activity which will be undertaken by special economic zones. The governance and transition. Special economic zone bill informed by the national consultation. Last year, we did a consultation on special economic zones. Strong governance and transparency and investor confidence. Smooth transition from export processing zone to special economic zone by December 2023. Designed for global competitiveness and impact local. So we want also our local people to participate. So the local content should be also enhanced. How can we connect our MSMEs with special economic zone? So we want our MSMEs to participate in economic zone through maybe value chains and other developments. Special economic zone create industry cluster and market demand. MSME can supply goods and service into special economic zone value chain. That's what I'm talking when I'm saying our SME will be able maybe to supply some of the product through the special economic zones. So we are not left them out at all. Job creation and skill transfer as well as local content. Local content, we want our MSME or our local people to participate in special economic zone and also in economic of the country in general. So local content will be one of our priority aspects which we were looking at. We will also assist those who will be in special economic zone to be able to participate in the African Continental Free Trade, whereby their product will be more and competitive so that they will be able to survive in that big market. For Namibia next growth chapter, we are talking of MSME. It's a path to inclusive growth and innovation. Special economic zone, a way to achieve large-scale industrial investment and trade. Yeah, that's all from our minister. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I think those are some of the services that one can access through the ministry. Like I indicated, I think we've come now to the end of the open session. We are going to take a 5-minute leg stretch while we afford members of the media to excuse us from the house. Then we will continue. We have got 30 minutes left on our program. So basically, when we go into the Q&A session, we want to have it as efficiently as possible. So basically, if we can already start thinking about what are those questions, so that we can have the panel members from the high table attend to that discussion. I will just consult while we are on a 5-minute break. Maybe we can, as a permission of the House, can we extend it a bit? No break? Yeah, okay. All right, we can continue. If can we go beyond 5? Yes. We can go beyond 5. Thank you very much. I like the enthusiasm.